somebody that we know passes, it's important that with the moment somebody pops into your head, into your mind, send them a message, send them a voice note, call them. It doesn't matter the length of time that has passed. That person popped into your mind for a reason. And so send them a message. Let it not be that you will not be doing, had I known, and you'll be regretting at the end of the day. So yes, we commiserate with, or we condole with the family of the Kuba family, and may his soul rest in perfect peace. As you go about your day today, please make sure that you are kind to somebody. You never know what people are going through, and you're watchful of the kind of words that you also say to people. You don't want people to pass and you're like, oh my God, how I wish. At that point, it is regret. There's nothing you can do about it, but there's something you can do about your behavior, your words right now. Okay, right. This is the full breakfast show, yes, but we're in the daily news review program, and we're just going to start off with the headlines this morning, starting off the Punch newspaper. NDC pegs presidential form at 60 million naira. Primaries hold May 29. Okay, Makinde may join 2027 presidential race on Thursday. So we're going to be seeing, or we're going to know whether he's going to join them or not by tomorrow, the 14th of May. In the Guardian newspaper, NISO warns of misinformation over greed instability. Also on the Guardian newspaper, we have Huriwa backs mandatory drug testing for students, urges federal government to fund policy. Okay, moving on to the This Day newspaper, we have fresh attacks on Accord. Arrest perpetrators, Adeleke directs police authorities. Yesterday, we saw that the son of the women leader of Accord Party in Osun State was killed. And our thoughts and prayers are with the family. But has it come to the point where we're killing people because of politics? Has it reached? Federal government IOCs raise crude supply to Dangote refinery, others by 103% in months. In the Daily Post, we have over 100 killed in Zamfara market airstrike. Some days ago, it was Niger airstrike. Now Zamfara market airstrike. What's going on? Maybe somebody can call me and tell me what's going on, because I'm about tired. My tired is tired, and I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of this matter. Abducted Nasarawa varsity students regain freedom. That is great news. Congratulations to the family members. Yeah. In the Vanguard newspaper, we have NAPE's SOS on jet fuel. FCCPC pushes nationwide adoption as Lagos moves to end estimated billing. Moving on to the Premium Times, we have police detain probe officers for assaulting passengers in Abia State. This one, I'm here for it too, because Otoge is enough. Enough is enough. Moving on to the next headline on the Premium Times, we have alleged coup plot. Suspects gave confessional statements voluntarily, says witness. Okay. Moving on to the Nation newspaper, NISA to curb energy theft, seeks improved power supply. Also on the Nation newspaper, we have Makinde gets kudos for impacting Oyo states. Moving on to the cable newspaper, we have Lagos to launch state-issued driver's license. Okay, I like to see that. These are the kind of things that we like to see. Hopefully that curbs or reduces drastically to barest minimum the backlog of licenses that need to be received, because every now and again they'll say, oh, there is Abuja. So if we're issuing it, it means that if maybe there's a typo on your license, it's easy to do. You don't have to say, oh, I have to go all the way to Abuja and all of that. So yeah, we love to see this. EFCC operatives were stoned while making lawful inquiries at University of Uyo Teaching Hospital. That's interesting. Why were they stoned? violence is definitely not the way in any form, shape, or fashion. So, yeah. In the Daily Post, NDC fixes presidential form at 60 million naira ahead of 2027 elections. Also on the Daily Post, Nollywood actor Alex Ikubo is dead. Moving on to the Tribune newspaper, we have Lagos PDP denies alliance with APM, faults Olabode George's camp. Okay. NIMC launches WhatsApp live chat platforms for NIN support. I want to say this is step in the right direction, but this is 2008, because anybody who has tried to get the NIN knows that it can be a drag to get your NIN, whatever it is that you have for your NIN. For instance, my NIN is still in my maiden name because, oh, have I changed it? No, I have changed it, beg your pardon. I have changed it, but the process to changing it, it was a lot. It was something and a half. I was like, at this point, I was running out of my mind, because I was always going to the NIN office at Ilupeju, and I was literally going out of my mind for this. Eventually, did I end up doing it there? Yes, I did. My daughter's own wasn't done there though. We started off in Ilupeju and ended up finishing it off at Ojodu. So yeah, saying that you're launching live. So my question is, if you say that you're launching live platforms for this, or WhatsApp platforms for this, what is the response time? What's the turnaround time? Am I chatting with you on WhatsApp and then it's going to take me another 24 hours or 1 week before a response is given? Are you going to cite network is down, network issues? Because that was something that was cited most of the times when I went to Liquid to do mine. Is one thing to say, oh, you're launching this. I don't even think it should be a big deal. It shouldn't be a big deal. There should be tech enabled support for these sort of things. NIMC, voters registration. What else is there? Name it. There should be. Unfortunately, you go on some websites and they say, oh, there's live chat platform. You chat with them and nobody's answering you. All our agents are busy. Please hold on a little bit, is what you're going to be hearing. So moving on to the pen pushing newspaper, this one we dealt with yesterday on her land. Stepmother kills 9-year-old stepdaughter. All Progressives Congress leaders applaud Adijat Adeleye consensus candidature for House of Representatives race. This is good because, like I always say, all I want to see is more women in government. I want to see them in the House. I want to see them in the upper house and the lower house. I want to see them as governors. I want to see them as ministers. I want to see them as commissioners. I want to see them as president. Maybe one day I'll say a woman president. Who knows? Will Nigeria ever see a female president? That's the $1 million question. And that's why we keep championing the special seats bill over here on Women Radio, because we keep championing it over here because, you know, it is important that we see women being represented in the House, represented in governance, represented in politics. We want to see them all day, every day doing that. We don't want oh my. We don't want to see men representing women on women's matters. We don't want to see men representing the vulnerable, children, youth, all of that. We don't want to see that. What we want to see are women in governance, women, not just personally. While I join voices, women voices, to push for the special seats bill, I am saying, look, beyond the special seats bill, I want to see them everywhere. Let's have a 50-50% representation. There are 50% to the men, 50% to the women. You know, let's see them, because what we see time and time again is during political rallies, they will go and get the women. During election days, on election days, you see there's women who are campaigning for men. You see there's women who are voting for men. But then after the cycle of campaign is done, after the cycle of elections are done, it's like the women are relegated again to the back. So it's like, what you need, you only need me for this. If you need me, it means that I'm powerful enough to be in governance, right? So unfortunately, still women are underrepresented. Only 20 women are federal legislators. Only 4 women are senators, right? Only 16 in the House of Reps, 16 seats in the House of Reps are held by women. I'm going to say that again. We only have 20 women as federal legislators. Of these 20, 4 out of 109 Senate seats are held by women. 16 out of 360 House of Rep seats are held by women. Do you know what that means? 16 out of 360 seats, 4 out of 109 seats. No, that is a lot, right? And we just need more representation. In the House of Reps in Lagos State, we only have there's only 1 woman in Lagos State, and that's Kafilat Obara. Like, only one. Look, don't get me started. Don't get me, like, where are the women? Where are the women? I want to see women in governance, but I'm just yapping and yapping and yapping. Okay, let's get into it. You already know that this is the daily news review program on Women Radio 91.7 FM, and this is this is where we talk about, we run through the headlines and then we tackle the one that will catch our eye. Our analyst is going to join us shortly. You already know that we are live on YouTube at WFM 917, and you can listen to us on the go via our website www.wfm917.com. Phone lines will be open shortly, but you can go ahead and start sending your text messages to 0703 1756 537 or 08155 917 917. I'm going to take them again. 08155 917 917 or 0703 1756 537. Those are the numbers to send your text messages, to send your WhatsApp messages, and to send your voice notes to, so we can read out your messages and you can be a part of the conversation. All right, our analyst has joined us this morning. Hi, Emmanuel. Good morning.
Hi, Fumi. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. First off, I should say thank you for coming here on short notice. Thank you so much for always saving my life. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. You're valuable. You're valuable. Okay, let's get into it. I want to start with JAM. The federal government has approved 150 as the cutoff mark for universities and nursing colleges. When I saw this, to be honest, I was like, I just shrugged it off because I don't think it went into my brain the way it should have. But then on social media, I realized, this is something serious that you should have paid attention to. And I realized that, how do you set 150 as the cutoff mark for admission? 100 for polytechnics. And they said that any institution that admits below the agreed benchmark would be sanctioned. On Monday, interestingly, we had a conversation about the quality of students coming out of our universities, the quality even of our universities right now. But if we're now saying that, if the federal government has gone ahead to now set 150 as the minimum cutoff mark, what does this say for our education system? Like, are we lazier? What's the reason behind this reasoning? Is it because students are failing? If students are failing, isn't it then important to check why students are failing? Shouldn't you go to the secondary schools to find out what are they teaching? How come they're failing? What kind of exams are they setting for JAM and all of that? I'm quite perplexed by this, and thankfully you're here to shed some light. Over to you, Emmanuel.
Well, if you had told me 15 years ago that we'll get to this stage with our UTME, I would not have believed it. Because back then, during my own time, I know that even with 150, I don't think College of Education or monotechnics can take you for 150. I know then the cutoff mark for Polytechnic was between 180 and between 180. While some private university take you because they just came there and they're looking for students for 200. For you to get into all this top institution, you must be a high performer. Personal experience, I wrote JAM twice. I remember the first JAM I wrote, I think I had 240 something. And I wanted to go to one of the institutions in southwestern Nigeria. And after clearing my WASEC with B's and A's, I was not still given admission to study the course I wanted to. That is how competitive it is. You thought you had 240 something, you walk into the post-UTME and then you start having a conversation and you see people with 280, 270, 290. That was the benchmark then. But it's not the fault of JAM. It is just the fact that education has dropped in Nigeria, and we keep saying it. Education for me, that's when you leave school, they said having been found worthy in character and learning. That is, character comes first, then learning, which we missed that out. But now what we are having is the fact that education system in Nigeria has really gone down, and we've not been paying attention to it. This is just an irony, because if to go to university, the total mark is 400, and then you're saying 150 to get to university and 100 to get to polytechnics, I don't see that as a way forward for us as a nation. I think when they put it at 180, we're complaining. We didn't know it's going to get to 150. Maybe the next time we are going to see 120. Because how will students sit for exam and 150 is the cutoff mark for it? How many students? I don't have the statistics of the last JAM, but I believe that substantial amount of students should be above the 200 mark. This is something that we need to sit down and really, really, really look at. It's so sad. I will not be praising the Ministry of Education for this. I'm just looking at it as we are a bunch of confused nation when it comes to education. And is it deliberate? I don't know. I don't want to be too forward by saying it's deliberate that they are trying to keep Nigerians in educational poverty. But because if you don't expose your mind to possibilities, your vision is just a replica of how far you see in life. That's your level of exposure determines your vision. So the truth about what we're seeing now is the fact that cutoff mark being dropped to 150. What does it do for our educational institution? On Monday, we spoke about educational institution playing a key role in what the CEO of one of the fintech said, that they can't recruit Nigerians because they are not job market ready. And then we are having this cutoff mark being dropped. I think it's no longer funny, because I only know I have to put in bare efforts to even get into polytechnic. And don't forget, university is for research. As per the creation of everything, polytechnic is the real deal for technical education. Whether you want to do engineering, you want to do anything technical, laboratories, and you want to do all those stuff, the original design was for it to be done in polytechnics. That is their design. But we just lost it along the way. And focus became on universities. University that teaches research are now teaching technical. How does it work? And then you said an engineer cannot remove Bob. Why will he be able to remove Bob? That is the irony of where we find ourselves. So if you are pegging it, I just want to know what they will peg for medicine and surgery. Should I say the almighty medicine and surgery? That even if you have 250 in JAM, you must be looking at having probably 280 or something to even qualify in some university. Now that they've dropped it to 150, maybe to study medicine, you just have to have 170. I don't know. That reminds me of the words of one of my professors who said he cannot be in a Nigerian hospital and allow a Nigerian young doctor to operate on him. And we asked him why. And Olorunfemi said basically that you want them to forget something in me. That I know the education I got in the 60s and you want me to come and use someone that I know the education we are giving them now to come and operate on me, it's not going to be possible. He said it's not that they are not brilliant or smart and intelligent, but there's something that is missing. We didn't understand that as a student. They were just laughing like, oh, it's just whining us. But truth now, being a man, I can say that I have a better understanding of that. So it's an irony that we are having to go to 150 as cutoff mark for universities and 100 as cutoff mark for polytechnics. And I asked which university will even be looking down at taking students who score less than 150. Maybe that university needs to be closed down. Because if you are complaining about 150 and then you want to take students who earn less than 150, it doesn't work well. There are critical sectors that I feel that we need to have declared a state of emergency in this country. Education is part of them. And truth is, I was having a conversation. I was saying to someone in the public service sector that I fear that what happened to unity schools, that is federal government colleges, should not happen to our public universities in Nigeria, where they will start seeking adverts for students to come in. Public university was the pride of nation. And only few want to go to, but it's just an irony that what we have right now is, how will I put it, is the fact that everything is just going down. So it is going to be a while before we get things moving. But the truth is, the 150 cutoff mark does not really do us any good academically, because we ought to have cutoff marks that reflect students, that reflect promotion, and that reflect a whole lot of things. But right now, we don't even have that in our nation, and that is very sad. So when you look at the education system, it's something that a state of emergency should be declared. But I don't know how they want to do it. But I don't even understand how we are going to go about it. But it's just something that I feel that at this point, we should be looking at things the way we ought to look at it, the right way. And what is the right way? The right way is we must set a standard for educational institutions. We must set a standard for students who are coming out. We must not bastardize this standard or take a wrong step in accommodating those who should not be accommodated. Years back, I know people who had 180, you cannot even get into polytechnics. And they had to settle for College of Education. So if polytechnic is 100, what are we having for monotechnic and College of Education? Are we having 80? Or we are having 60? And don't forget, every institution that was established, they have a reason for their establishment. They have a reason for their establishment. So if an institution was established, College of Education was meant to produce teachers who will now move and further their studies. They teach you basic education there. But we've lost everything. And if you're saying that 100 for polytechnics, I don't know for College of Education, maybe it's going to be 80 because usually less than polytechnic. Now, those are the teachers of tomorrow. Irony of a nation that wants to move forward, but does everything backward. I think I'll just rest my case on that because it's a bit annoying. Though some students and parents may jump at it, but it is not good for the future.
Yeah. I actually do remember the unity schools when I was going to go to secondary school. There were unity schools, there were mission schools, and they were big deals. Private schools were a thing, but they were not much of a thing. I mean, private school was like, it wasn't still as prestigious as unity schools were, as mission schools were back then. But right now, it's almost like if you want to send your child to a school now, you have to be thinking about a good private school to send your child to, because you're sort of guaranteed good education at the barest minimum for your child. Public schools, federal schools, not so much. And it's just so sad to see, because where are we headed? When you look at the Western world, are there private schools there? Yes, but you also see that their public schools are sort of in, you can say, a direct competition with, you know, the private schools. Maybe not America, because public schools in America, they are going through teaching. But I think that what their case is even the case of parental failure. But you get what I'm saying. And Nigeria, that used to pride itself in being education focused, that was one of the hallmarks of Nigeria. It's just so sad to see. And when you say some parents might jump at it, it's sad that a parent would jump at the fact that the cutoff is lower, because back then our parents prided themselves in the fact that we beat whatever the cutoff was. And there was that comparison. Didn't you, for me, you not see Emmanuel got 278. What do you mean you got 250? Was the comparison good? No, but it sort of like put students on their toes, you know, to do better during exams. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's move to the next headline. The phone lines are now open: 07000 or 0800 1235 917. You can begin to call in to give your contribution to our conversations this morning. 07000 or 0800 1235 917. You can send your text, WhatsApp messages, or voice notes to 0703 1756 537 or 08155 917 917. The time right about now is 1 minute to 8, and you're listening to myself, Fumi, and our analyst Emmanuel on the Daily News Review this morning on Women Radio 91.7. Okay, repentant Boko Harams. This one's from the Guardian newspaper, to swear Quran oath. When I saw this, I was very, very confused, because this is happening in Borno State. Borno State, that is a hotspot for terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, abduction. But it is still the same Borno State that they are saying that thousands of repentant Boko Haram terrorists are undergoing rehabilitation and reintegration into the state. The former Commissioner of Women Affairs and Social Development, Hajiya Zuwaira Gambo, disclosed this in an interview, and my brain has been buzzing. Every time this rehabilitation conversation comes up, I'm highly irritated, because what do you mean you are rehabilitating terrorists? You're saying that they're swearing an oath with the Holy Book, but isn't this the same Holy Book that they're swearing by that they're using to kill people? I don't know, Emmanuel, maybe you can help me to make sense of this.
I think it's funny. It's funny, and it's a lot. Fuji House of Commotion does well than Nigeria. I think the comedians that wrote the script of Nigeria, they must be high on something to have written this kind of script for us as a nation. And it's an irony. First, I've always maintained that there is nothing like a repentant terrorist. You had some basic ideology for me as a kid, followed you as a teenager, followed you as an adult. It is very hard for you to drop those ideology now. They are no longer in their formative years where you tell me that they are now repentant and they need to be integrated back into the society. See, the law is the law, and the law is clear. The only thing that shows mercy is God. And when we seek forgiveness, He forgives us all our iniquities. But there are some punishments for actions you've taken here on earth that you must pay for. That is why when a police arrests an armed robber, they will tell you that he's being charged to court and is facing 10-count charges bordering around armed robbery. A policeman will not arrest a group of armed robbers and then come on live television and tell you that they are repentant armed robbers. I'm so surprised that in this century, 2026, we're still talking about repentant Boko Haram. And coming from the mouth of a commissioner to tell us that they swear by the Holy Book, I think it's even very bad that we allow people who has desecrated holy lands, churches, mosques, to swear by the holy book that they will not go back into it. You are saying repentant Boko Haram, repentant terrorists. The terrorists cannot repent. That is my own word. And it's an irony that the commissioner in a state devastated by insurgency, devastated by constant attack, where even some people cannot go back to their communities. There were communities that were rebuilt and still re-attacked. I can't be governor, my commissioner will speak like this. You are going back to your house. There are women who are now widows, women who have been raped, women who are going through a whole lot, who have lost their children, girls who can't even find their parents, who are living in IDP camp for years. And a commissioner is opening her mouth to say this. Such an irony for us as a nation. I keep saying this. Think forward and not think backward. But when you give leadership position to people whose foresight, whose level of exposure determines their vision, and they've not been exposed to the realities of life and modern way of doing things, you are at the mercy of some of their decisions that looks like you are still in the 17th century where you are exploring and finding Africa. Even those in the 17th century, I think they thought better than this. It's crazy because how many troops were killed? Do you know how many young men putting on the camouflage and representing the country have lost their life? Parents who cannot see their children. Go to military formations, military barracks, and ask, oh, I want to do an empowerment. I need the wives of soldiers who were killed in battlefronts. Put it between 2020 and 2026. And see the number of young women carrying small babies that you will see coming out. Their husband left home to that same Borno state but did not return. And the commissioner is saying that they are swearing by the holy book. This is annoying.
Hello?
Oh, we have a call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, I'm Kaya Dupola.
Your name is?
Yeah, I want to contribute on this. Yeah, I'm Kaya Dupola.
Okay, Kaya Dupola, go ahead.
Yeah, to contribute this repentant Boko Haram.
Please go ahead.
What you have to realize is that, that some of these repentant Boko Haram, some of them are forced into this so-called Boko Haram. Not that they willingly join. It's not every one of them that's doing and doing whatever. So you have to be speak about this issue. There are people who are called, I don't maybe.
We can no longer hear you.
Apparently, yeah, you can hear me?
We can hear you now.
Now.
Yes.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that the Boko Haram, fall into it. Not that they like doing it. The constitution, and they didn't have to get out. So when they had the opportunity getting out of Boko Haram, say that they are no longer. So you don't have to look upon them as those who have. That cannot be reintegrated into society. The first place is not to travel Boko Haram. So what we do is to show that those that are actually not willing to be in Boko Haram are the ones that are being rehabilitated. That will check. You understand what I'm saying? So they have to separate those who generally want to leave Boko Haram from those who will be, who will want to come out in society and still be part of Boko Haram. That's one. Then, I am institution in the US, UK, among in Nigeria. This is not funny. As far as I'm concerned, the requirements for getting to higher institutions in Nigeria are too high for me. Okay? So, after to be taking exams to get the it's not as if every big and hurry. So, by learning the standards, they are not learning the standards to getting this S20. I just make sure that we have enough teachers and we encourage people to get, because lots of people don't have they're not interested in encourage these and potential. So if we make it easier for people to get at the AC, I think it's better. Because the requirements first place are too demanding for me. Can you believe that to get into another school, not in the UK, you only need 2 credits? When Nigeria, you need 4 credits. Are you listening to me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Yeah. The requirements into getting to higher institution in Nigeria are too demanding. That should be lowered. And they have done it. So they do. There's no reason why students in the second school should be doing 8 subjects in the first school. Why? You do not do more than 5 subjects. So that's my own take on the students.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You made 2 interesting statements that I'm going to start with the nursing. You said that to study nursing in the UK, you just need two credits. I disagree with you. So you need minimum of 5 at grade 4C or higher. That's for your GCSEs, which is our WAEC, right? Math, English, and a science subject. Level 3 qualifications, you need 2 or 3 A levels. Alternative level, there's a list. It goes down a list of the requirements, your qualifications to be able to study nursing in the UK, right? So to say that you just need 2 credits, no. There's a long list. In fact, if you go from Nigeria to the UK and you want to study nursing, you will have to convert your certification or your credits, whatever, and do theirs, right? If it's not up to par, and then work there. But you cannot work 2 credits to be a nurse. No, let's stop playing. Also, you made interesting comments about, I think you also said that you think that the requirements to go into university are quite demanding. I think that it's subjective, and that's what Emmanuel was saying, because there's a reason why you are going to university, right? We need grounded young people to get into university. University is not child's play. If you don't want to go to university, there are other places you can decide to do vocational subjects. You can decide, the list is endless, but you want to go to university where demand is going to be placed upon you at university. Please, whatever the requirements are, then you go by it. It's the same thing. You want to go for a job, there are requirements to get into to get a job. You can't say, because the demands are too high, you're not going to do that. Then you made interesting comments as well about the terrorism. If an armed robber came into your house and killed a family member, stole your things, beat you up, killed a family member, what's the English of this? Would you say, because he was not forced into it, then that means that he forgive him? I don't even understand, but yeah, we have another call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, no, Emmanuel, please go ahead.
Well, basically, I will just go back to my submission on the Boko Haram terrorists, but I want to pick a thing from what Mr. Kayo Dikopola said. And he's right. He's right in some aspect that some people were forced to join this terrorism gang and group. But the truth is, why did they join? The fear of the terrorists, what the terrorists will do to them if they don't join, made them join. Why do they not join? They don't have fear of what the Nigerian government will do to them if they join. You know, if I fear what you will do to me, I will not do what will make you react and do it to me.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they know that there's a program they can just slide into. And they wear them the white and green cap. And they said they are done. No society that is being ravaged by banditry and terrorism. I'm not talking about agitations. Agitations is different from terrorism. And that is why we have the Terrorist Act. We have everything different from the Criminal Act that moves Terrorist Act. No society brands terrorists as repentant. They have connection with these people. It is easier to trade information with these people. It is easier to go back. Why are they finding some of their repentance back there? Is there a time frame for repentance? Why do they go back to sin? So it is quite saddening that we are having repentance in the first place. If community members knows that what the Nigerian government will do to me is more than what these terrorists will do to me, they would not join. And if you follow some of the findings that they are discovering, they are discovering that they have a command, they have payment, they have this, they have that. Very crazy. These guys are on social media doing life with guns.
Yeah.
Being happy doing it, engaging in illegal drugs and all, getting high. That is not fair on those who have been killed, saying we are repenting or we are rehabilitating them. It is not. It is not. That is just my stand. If you've been to barracks, you've been to bases, you've seen soldiers who go and don't come back, you will not talk about repenting these people. What happened to the wives, the children of those who were killed? How many soldiers have lost their life today? Years back, an Alpha jet went down in Borno. The two pilots, I don't want to mention their name on air. They were missing. They couldn't find them for years now. Closure for the family. They shut it down. And then we pick those ones. We say they are repentant. The group captain who parked his car at the hangar and took a flight, Alpha jet, to go and fight, and then come back with the squadron leader years back. And one of them was beheaded on live TV. What do you say about that? For years, I see his car. When I go to the hangar, on fine Pojo, he didn't come back. Left wife in the base, just a quick flight to fight, was brought down and he didn't come back, was beheaded.
Hi, hello, sorry, Emmanuel. Hello, good morning.
Good
Prince.
morning.
Okay, we can
Good
hear you
morning,
now.
madam.
Good morning, Prince.
Good morning, Mr. Nala. Good morning, family radio. Yes, I've been listening to what Emmanuel is saying. I quite agree with all. All I need to say is these people, these northern leaders and their people, if they want this insurgency and this program to stop, it will stop. But they are living within them, and that's why this thing is happening. If they want this thing, it will stop. They should report those things so that we stop. Like what the last caller said. Do you know how many soldiers we have? How many soldiers we're losing every day on this insurgency? If somebody is coming out to say, no, me and I thought I just support them bombing family and that day. So this thing should compete with the unity. So that this thing can stop. It's not wasting life. On education, standard of education is falling. And if some parents are aiding, so who's going to enter their children in special center? I did not allow any of my children to enter university. Any of my child that they not go over 200, you know, enter. So my better than you went to Unilife, 267 because it's really hard to enter. So something they kind of the is funny. And that's when they graduate, they come out, they are not employable. Some of them, if you know that actually in my house, parents will come and ask them later to forward their children. By the time you do that kind of thing, try to come out, they cannot defend the certificate of the other. They become employable, like what somebody was saying, but not all of them. We have serious one among them. So in Nigeria, I think things is better. We should always learn to do. These politicians, it's only their pocket also. They only know about their own. I'm telling you, nobody wants to bow for any other person. Interest comes first, almost all of them. They have the interest of Nigeria attack. Until we put Nigeria, and there's this, we should always learn to do. If one is better Nigeria, it should start from you, and anywhere in the start, we do the right thing. So that better Nigeria we are looking for common. But Nigeria was not like this. I believe Nigeria will be great today. God bless, and
Thank you very much.
So much. I thought that was Prince because Prince has been trying to call. Thank you, Evangelist Dixon, for your call. Yeah, let's take these messages this morning before we go ahead. We have this one from Olushika Ajayi. He says, Wike is working around the clock to ensure that Fubara doesn't return as Rivers State Governor in 2026. He can promise this APC chairman or anyone that can help to make that happen 100 plots of land in Abuja, including 100 billion naira to develop them. A man that lives in 2 different mansions can never catch a thief. Interesting times ahead. From additional Wasiu Nikorodu, he says, good morning to you in the studio. On the airstrike in Niger and Zamfara states that killed some people, the traditional ruler and others and other leaders in the north needs to educate their people not to have anything to do with Boko Haram and other terrorists. The question, what are these people doing with people that carry gun? On Jonathan coming back, he's on arrival because he lacks capacity. We have a call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. We can hear you.
Yes, please, I for your number. The program that
Sorry, say that again. Please, can you send a text message to 08155 917 917 or 0703 1756 537? Please send a message to those numbers 0703 1756 537 because we couldn't catch what you were saying. Okay, to finish this message, he says, Jonathan coming back is dead on arrival because he lacks capacity on allocation to the states. Constitution mandates the federal government to give allocation to the states and local government, so it's left for Nigerian citizens to hold the state governor and local government accountable how they spent the allocation instead of everyone focused on the federal government. We should put pressure on the state and local government. Thank you so much for your message. Please help me ask your guests, what do you think the government should do with this so-called repentant Boko Haram, because many of them were forced to join? Additional Wasiu comes back to ask. He also says, oh, same question. He said, because remember that most of them are underage and they are thousands in numbers. Oh, he was responding to that. Olusegun Ajayi comes back to say, repentant terrorists take Quranic oath before reintegration is a big shame on the Borno government pampering terrorists, while victims of terrorism attacks are still suffering in IDP camps. We keep hearing about repentant terrorists being rehabilitated. Peace without justice won't last. The government must prioritize victims, ensure accountability, and be transparent if we truly want to end insecurity in Nigeria. Yes, I was going to say something about this. I do agree that some of them were forced into it. However, you can't say because somebody was forced into it that they don't bear the repercussion of their action. Maybe there should be maybe instead of sentencing them to 100 years, maybe it should be less. There's a way they divide, is it mass voluntary, involuntary, and things like that. But to say you're bringing them back into society, and to pick from what Emmanuel said at the beginning, where the ideologies that you've been indoctrinated with from when you were a baby stays with you. So regardless of whether you were forced into doing that thing or not, maybe because we were forced into it, ourselves in harm's way, because like won't they return back to it at some point because they are used to that sort of life? Abi, Emmanuel, what would you say?
See, lifestyle is what sustains us. And you can't live a lifestyle for 3 years and live among a group of daredevils, and then you want to live among normal people. It is not done. You can't have a free will, rape, kill, use drugs at your own free will, and then someone is saying you should come and live a normal life. It takes more than grace and more than putting hand on the holy book to swear to do that. If you are integrating them with those amount of money that is being spent, have you been to IDP camps? We are saying integrate. Those who were killed in Kwara State the other day when a village, Woro town, was attacked, what do you want them to do? Those who were killed when a town in Kwara South was attacked, those who were killed when a town in Kogi was attacked, what do you want them to say? Those who were killed when a part of Oyo National Park was attacked, what do you want them to say? I'm just giving you examples.
Yeah.
The teacher who was killed, was it the vice principal, when those schoolgirls were abducted in Kebbi State? What do you want the family to say? We speak because it's not affecting us and we feel like there is no pain in it. But if you've seen pain of those who are affected by this, you understand the gravity of what is happening. And I keep saying some of us in this part of the country, because we don't know what is happening. We feel like it is a child's play because it's been downplayed by the media. There are roads you dare not travel in some part of the country. What has made traveling between Kogi and Abuja very hard? There are places you dare not go to. Do you know what it takes for communities to rely on escorts by the armed forces just to assess their community? Because they dare not travel that road. Do you know what it means for communities to start paying taxes to these terrorists just because they want to farm? Do you know what it means that community members are being used as laborers just because they want to survive and stay in their community? They have nowhere to go. But I think because we live in the city and we've seen a sense of peace, and the only thing is the tout and agberos on our road. But how do we even complain about those tout and agberos? We want the government to arrest them. So if you are shouting, government should arrest tout and agbero, they should imprison them, they should take them off the streets. How about Boko Haram, who are terrorists? If you can say that for tout and agbero, who only disturbs you periodically at Oshodi or Bega, anywhere you find yourself, you want them taken off the streets, arrested, put in prison, but you want terrorists to be integrated back. When they released the tout and agbero from the correctional facility, what happened? Where did they return to? After the 3-4 months that they released them, where did they return to? You find them back on the street. This time, more deadly. So if you're saying you don't want these ones because you live in the city, they should leave, they should clean the city. You don't want Omotoku or Omotaku or what they call them, Omotaku. Those when your car spoils and then they come 20,000, lower me, 30,000, lower me, that's my money. You don't want them on because they disturb you. Now think of Boko Haram. He who wields the gun without even asking you a question and take what doesn't belong to him because he feels he has a right and is on a radicalization mission. How about now? We should be fair to ourselves and fair to those who have lost loved ones and fair to those whose community lies in grave silence and fair to those whose children went to school but never returned. We should be fair to the soldiers who lost their loved ones. We should be fair to the soldiers who went to the battlefield with 2 legs but came back with 1. We should be fair to them. It doesn't affect you because you live in the city and you want them to reintegrate them. But those who they have killed their colleague, you want them to see this repentant, so-called repentant, and be at peace. No. As Prince rightly said, and it was said in of an English case Supreme Court, there's no peace without justice. Good morning from me.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for today's edition. Thank you for, stepping in Save the Day as well. Today's topics were quite heavy, and I'm hoping that at some point we'll find, relief, respite, whatever, in talking about all these things, and in the nearest future, we can look back and be like, it was a tough time for us as a country, but we've seen the light at the end of the tunnel. That's really the prayer. Thank you so much once again. Catch you on Monday for our normal daily news review. Stick around with us on Women Radio 91.7. 9 o'clock is the news. 9:05 is Her Lens. Don't go anywhere. Many thanks to Rachel and Michael for producing me this morning. Don't go anywhere. This is the Women Radio 91.7. Catch you soon.